Live YouTube. Good morning. Welcome to the farm. We're going to give a few people a little bit of time to get in here. Hopefully I can pull up your comments over here in this screen to the left. There we go. Let's see here. Let's mute myself. What exactly? Got myself a commercial on my own video. Welcome to the Stoney Ridge Farm, guys. It's Saturday morning. I hope you guys are having a pleasant morning. I am slacking on my live streams, trying to get my camera, my lighting all set up here so you can actually see me. Welcome back to the farm, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. It's Saturday morning. I wanted to talk a little bit about the things that are going on the farm here. If you guys think about it, when you come in the door here, if you didn't get a notification that we have a live stream today, please jump in there, click that notification bell. It'll help out a whole lot. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. If you don't do that, you're missing out on some of the content. If you're wondering where Stoney Ridge Farmer's been, that's where you'll see some of that little stuff. So a lot of the videos get posted over here on YouTube, but a lot of the smaller little snippets of stuff get posted in a different place. So over on Facebook and Instagram. If you're not on there, you're not really missing a lot, but there's more content over there, just so you know. So there's content on YouTube and there's content on all the social media outlets that we have. So we got 145 people in here, guys. Pound that like button on your way in the door here. I appreciate that. That always helps. The question is, TV versus YouTube. What do you guys watch? Do you watch YouTube or do you watch TV? What do you like the best? What do you think's more real? I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I watch a lot so I can learn a lot. You can see back here in the background, I'm just going to hit play on this real quick. A little teaser for the video that's going to be coming out hopefully later today or early tomorrow morning. I visited a maple syrup farm day before yesterday, and goodness gracious. There we go. Visited a maple syrup farm day before yesterday, and I've been in here editing video. There were somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 separate clips that I got that I'm piecing together in this video right here. And then I got my good old buddy playing back here, Mr. Mikey Morgan.
I wanted to welcome you.
I enjoy getting up. So in the morning, probably just like you guys, I check my email and I get notifications, or you might get them on your phone, of all the YouTubers that I follow, and I'll go in and watch their videos. Most of the time on Saturday morning, sometimes every morning. So the routine for me, first thing in the morning, is get up and make sure all the animals are in good shape. Last night it was about 20 degrees, so we've got water frozen in our stock tanks. However, the siphon system running out of the pond is running strong, so I'll just take those and drop them over into the stock tanks. I'll let the stock tanks get down probably about that much. That way I can keep the cows in fresh water, and I'll run fresh water in the tanks, and that will melt the ice out of the tank. Pretty cool. Tank. I'll just say tank again. So -9 says Rufus. And whoever just commented, are they still drinking coffee? Cheers. I am. This is a coffee cup that the guys from North Country Off Grid gave me. It says Idaho is what America was. It's pretty funny. So James asked, did the pipes freeze? Nope, the pipes didn't freeze. The water's running freely through the pipes right now. It's coming out from the pond, and it's coming out from water about that deep in the pond. So the temperature of that water is somewhere around 45, 50 degrees. I think I'll take my thermometer down there and show that real quick at some point. So Starbucks double shot. We don't have a Starbucks close by. Our closest Starbucks is about a half hour away. That's not bad. I mean, we're living in rural America. So here in North Carolina, 178 people, 72 likes, guys. Pound that like button. Just kind of wanted to give you an update today. Hat update, a what's going on the channel update, and talk about TV versus YouTube. What do you guys like? Tell me. Post it down there in the comments. I enjoy watching YouTube. I learn from YouTube. YouTube is my go-to. So if I want to learn something, I start looking it up. I start looking it up on YouTube. I start looking it up, Googling it, and end up finding the information that I want, or being pointed in the right direction. A lot of you folks have asked, and I'll give a quick shout out. I don't know this guy. I don't know Greg Judy. I watch his videos religiously. A lot of folks have mentioned Greg Judy. Greg Judy. Check out Greg Judy's this. Greg Judy's that. Go over to Greg Judy's channel if you guys don't know who he is. He is a cattle rancher, and he's just a fountain of knowledge, especially for regenerative agriculture, which is what we're trying to do here, is rebuild the soils on our farm. So go over to Greg Judy's channel, tell him Stoney Ridge Farmer sent you. He's a great guy, very educational. They offer a grazing school. It's just good stuff for farming, along with what goes on here on the farm, the fence building and the cattle and all the rest of the fun stuff. We learn from each other. So absolutely. What part of North Carolina are we in, Timothy? I'm about a half hour north of Greensboro, like north central North Carolina. We are 5 minutes from Virginia. So Austin says, I watch ComHub. It's got some facts about farming, and it's actually cool. Cool, I've never heard of that. So, Mrs. North Country Off Grid's in the house. I just gave you a little shout out, Mrs. North Country. You recognize the coffee cup? So we had to drive to Idaho to get this coffee cup, so I'm real proud of it. Good stuff. Yep. I like Wrangler Star too, Steven. Cody's a good fella. You're welcome to tell Cody I said hey if you go over to his channel. He's a good channel. But, you know, he's got different information. Everybody's got so much different information, different personality. That's what I think draws me and probably draws you guys to YouTube. Because there's just so much personality, so many different people, so much to learn. You know, you can learn a lot from somebody that isn't doing something right, too. I think, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, you can learn more from somebody doing it wrong than you can from somebody doing it right. That thinks they're a know-it-all, and hopefully I don't come across as a know-it-all. I'm learning and growing and building, just like hopefully you guys are. And if you're not learning and growing and building, at least you're watching and you're enjoying the content. And hopefully my goal with my channel, with what I do here, which takes somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 hours plus per week with YouTube, editing videos, doing the things that I do on the farm, my goal is to put a smile on your face. You know, you come home from a job that's mundane and plain Jane and you're tired of it, and you come home and you see something real. So I think that's cool, and hopefully put a smile on your face, educate you a little bit, and maybe when you walk away from the computer you have a little bit of woo in your heart. So somebody, Justin Thurston says, did you look, these comments are going so fast, did you look at any competitors to your Kubota RTV? I like the diesel option and the versatility of the RTV. Yes, we did. We looked at a lot of the competitors. The Green brand, John Deere, and a lot of our equipment's John Deere here on the farm. The only piece of equipment that's Kubota is our Kubota RTV. The John Deere diesel model was priced way above and beyond what the Kubota diesel was. We looked at several different options. We have a John Deere Gator 825i, the gas version. Do you need diesel in a utility vehicle? For fuel consistency and for longevity of the machine, that's why we chose diesel. We wanted a UTV on a tractor platform. Ralph's Trucking, thank you. Passed your area yesterday. Thanks, man. $1.99 super chat. Woo! So, back to fuel consistency. The reason we bought the diesel is because it's a longer lasting machine. You know, people have tens of thousands of hours on these machines and they just last and last. I was worried about driving it and stopping it, drive and stop, stop and go, turning on, turning off. But now that we've had the machine for almost a year now, I'm totally happy with it. Totally happy. The only thing that I wish it had a little bit more, and I hear there's an adjustment, and I'll make that adjustment once the warranty's expired on our RTV. We have the X1140, and you'll see some more videos featuring that. The only thing I'm going to change, there is a little nut that will let more fuel in, and therefore it won't be such a, I hate to say dog, but it's a dog. When you're going up a steep hill and you're in high gear, it's a dog. You put it to the floor, it's like, gah! And I want to go, gah! And take off. So the Gator is definitely faster, and we'll do a side-by-side comparison pretty soon. So What's been going on here on the channel? We got him on the UTV thing. Al Lumna, you guys. Stephen Wells says I like to watch Al Lumna. I'm subscribed to Al. I'll go in there and watch his channel. Leave some comments on there. You'll see me in there from time to time. Al's a good dude. I talked to him on the phone. These are good people. These really are good people. Mike with Our Wyoming Life. I talked to him a whole lot. A good friend of mine's starting a new YouTube channel. He's called That Fix It Guy, and he's up in Washington. I was stationed in the Air Force with him. That Fix It Guy. You can check him out. He might be in here right now cruising through. The comments are going by so fast. My goal today is to have 400 people in here on the live stream. So stick around, guys. Let's see if we can pile up 400, 500 people on this live stream. That'd be super awesome. I think the record for my live stream is 500. So if everybody hangs around for long enough, we might hit 500 people. That'd be super cool. Or blow the record out of the park. Last live stream I did, we had 3,600 people come in and go out. So if you stick around for a little bit and listen to me jabber, we might break a record. It's pretty cool. Wondering whatever happened to the Jeep. Everybody's wondering whatever happened to the Jeep. 7 cells of the fan. That's hard for me to read that. The Jeep is in the garage. The garage is cram-packed. There's baby chicks in the garage right now. They are a week old, and there's a tractor in the garage, which I've ordered all the parts for. I've been waiting for parts to come in from AGCO. And we'll be talking to the folks from AGCO here very shortly. That's part of what's going on. So there's just no room in the garage. We need a bigger shop. We're going to have to upgrade the shop in order to work on the Jeep. So I'm in the process of searching and looking and trying to compare so I can make an educated decision on what kind of shop building we want. And we want a building big enough to where we can host classes here on the farm. So if we process a hog the old-timey Appalachian way, I want to be able to invite you guys to come to the farm and take a class. I want to have the guys from Hand Hewn Farm that are up in Ohio. I want to have them down here to teach a class on curing meats. I want to teach classes here on the farm to make this an interactive education center. I want to teach classes about raising chickens and processing chickens and give tips and pointers and stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe at some point here on the farm, we can host Mother Earth News Fair, or we could host any number of homesteaders conventions right here. So who knows? Who knows where we go from here? It would be awesome. This year, Mother Earth News Fair is at Polyface Farm, which is right up the road, probably 3 hours up the road at Joel Salatin's place at Polyface. So who knows? Who knows where we go? There's never enough room in the shop. Feel your pain. It says scratch coat. Yep, 26 by 40 is what size our shop is, and I filled that thing up like day one. So please let me come and learn on the farm. Yep, James, I'll let you know. Whenever we offer classes, they'll be announced, and they'll be on StoneyRidgeFarmer.com too. All right, let's talk about... I got a big agenda today. So we're at 259 people. Everybody stick around. Let's see if we can get 500 and pound that like button. So hats. Let's talk about hats. Hats should be available by March the 15th. These are the hats that we're going to go with on the farm channel here, okay? Farm On Fanatic. $5 super chat. Let's get Senior Airman Josh. No doubt, bro. So here are the hats that we are going to offer. We're going to offer the hats in 4 configurations, okay? There will be a OD green or a dark green version right here, and it'll say Stoney Ridge Farmer. It won't have a YouTube channel on there. It'll just have supporting veteran farmers or support veteran farmers, just like this. So we're going to offer this hat in the orange and gray. We're going to offer it in the green and gray. And we're going to offer in a tan color, OD green color, and black, and just an all straight black hat. These are all Richardson 112 hats. They're all snapback. If you don't like a snapback hat, I'm sorry. That's just it. I've got a stock somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 to 600 hats. I've got to buy them. In order to buy them in bulk like that, it's going to cost me around $4,000. We're going to be moving the t-shirts over to my own website soon at StoneyRidgeFarmer.com. Just simply because if I sell one shirt, you know, this is part of a business here, so this pays the bills. If I sell one shirt, I make 40 cents sometimes, where we're selling them over on Bonfire. Don't hesitate, continue to buy them. It's going to be probably 6 months or so before we start rolling shirts. And what it's going to do is make me a little more busy than I already am. What we'll do is ship out shirts and hats probably every Friday. That'll be a dedicated 4-hour period of boxing up and shipping things out. Hopefully we can get the price point down on the shirts, and we'll have a good price point on the hats, somewhere between 23 and 25 bucks for the hats. And I hope to offer free shipping if I possibly can. I'm not taking pre-orders or anything, Russ. Thanks for asking. As soon as it hits the website, you guys will be the first ones to know. So if you're subscribed to the channel, click the bell icon so that you know when we have this stuff out, when we roll this stuff out, for sure. All right, that Fix-It guy's in the house. That's the guy I was telling you guys. When you get out of here, go check out that Fix-It guy. He just did a video this morning. He's funny. He's just a funny guy. I'll let you see it because I'll give you a teaser. He had to stick his hand in the toilet. It was pretty funny. All right, so let's talk about traveling and stuff like this. If you want to meet up, I will be in Missouri next week. I'll meet and greet, and I'll also announce on Instagram, and I'll also announce it on the community page here on YouTube. It's going to be a short notice deal. I'm going to try and find a place. We're going to be in Missouri, near Warrensburg, Missouri, and I want to do a meet and greet. So I want to meet some of you guys. If you live out in the center of the country here, in the middle of the country, I would love to meet you and shake your hand. That's this coming week. So I'm going out to Swisher Products, Swisher Company, and they make a lot of things out at Swisher. We're going to tour the factory. They make the Log Ox, which Austin and the Log Ox guys are huge fans and friends of the channel. So we're going to go over there. We're going to see the Log Ox being made, hopefully, and the Swisher mower that we have up here. We reached out to them, and they're going to help us out and let us see how something's made in the Swisher factory. They make all sorts of stuff, so you'll get a good insight into what goes on, and it's part of our Made in America series. I hope you guys are enjoying that Made in America series. I'm having a blast doing it. I'm getting to travel all over the country. It's a little taxing to get away from the farm, but it's February, so there's not a whole lot of growth, not a whole lot of stuff going on the farm, and this will kind of break up the monotony of busting ice out of the out of the water tanks. Scott Glover says, from Sleepy Hollow Farm, appreciate your help. Awesome, buddy. Thank you. $10 super chat. Woo! All right, for every super chat from now on, they're getting a woo. So, Missouri, again, Missouri is pretty far away. We'll be flying out there. Google just left the farm. So, to explain this to you guys. So, Google was here for about 6 days. A film crew from Google. There were 2 representatives from Google and a film crew out here filming us, me and Mrs. Stoney Ridge, working on the farm, getting stuff done. And they're doing a piece on sustainability and sustainable living and about what we've done here on the farm, how far we've taken it from where it was. So it was really flattering. It's like the boss calling you and saying, hey man, Google oses YouTube. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Google owns YouTube. I'll let you guys know when the video rolls out. It should be sometime around Earth Day. Google is trying to promote, and YouTube is trying to promote agriculture and farming and food. So it's really, really cool. Farmall Fanatic, thank you for the super chat. Woo! So anyhow, Google came out. Google owns YouTube. It was very flattering. It was very interesting. We'll tell you a little bit more about it once the video has come out. They're in the editing process right now. They've got old pictures of me and Mrs. Stoney Ridge and what this place looked like prior to me even starting the YouTube channel. So it's going to be really cool, really fun. I can't wait. And it was really flattering. So I know a lot of people don't like the internet superpowers or whatever that be, but Google started with an idea, just like our farm started with an idea and a dream, and that's okay. I think it's good, and it's very flattering that they would choose me. Now, YouTube reached out to me, and all this has happened like within the last week. YouTube reached out to me, and there is a farm conference. Oh, don't let me mess up and not tell you. There's a farm conference in San Antonio, Texas, and I believe it's the 26th through the 29th at San Antonio, Texas. If you live in Texas, if you want to come down, I'm going to see if it costs any money to go to the Alamo. I don't know if it does or not. I think you can just walk in. So I think we're going to do a meet and greet, and we're going to call it Meet Me at the Alamo. And we'll all meet on the front porch of the Alamo, and I'll do a live stream right from the front of the Alamo if it's possible. I hope it is. It might not be. But if not, we'll take some pictures. We'll shake some hands. So if you live down near Almo's Free, says Sydney Tompkins. Okay, so I'll announce again on YouTube and on Facebook and on Instagram. So if you're following us, you'll know about it. If you live down in Texas or southern Texas, what I want to do is a boom first crash. What I want to do is a meet and greet at the Alamo. I think it would be awesome. What do you guys think? Anybody live down in Texas? Meet in the basement. That'd be cool. So I've been back to San Antonio one time since I graduated from basic training at Lackland Air Force Base back in 1996. So it's going to be interesting to get back to San Antonio. And if anybody is in the Air Force down there, if you're in the military, man, I would just simply love to take the time, hop in the car with you, and go on to the base, man. I haven't seen the base where I did basic training since I left in 1996. How awesome would that be? So if you're a veteran, or if you're a military guy and you live down there in San Antonio, I'd love to spend some time with you and go back on the Air Force Base there, and just to see the troops marching around, just how awesome that would be. So if you do live down that way, shoot me an email. If we could work something out like that, that would be so super cool. So, New England meet and greet. Right now, Brian, no New England meet and greet planned. However, at some point, I want to get together with Mike Morgan. He's probably playing in the background back here. I want to get together with Mike Morgan and do a meet and greet with him. I think it would be super awesome. So at some point, we're going to get up to Pennsylvania. I guess that's New England. And we'll do, what do you call it? A meet and greet. So I want to get out and meet some folks a little bit more this year. So the reason why there's no video out right now, normally Saturday morning, I'll throw up a video at 8 o'clock every Saturday morning, and typically 8 o'clock every Sunday morning, or just after church time on Sunday. This video that you see that's being edited right here is a very complex video. So there's a lot of little pieces that I'm pulling together and blending together so that it looks good. Jake White says Pennsylvania is not New England. What is New England? Throw the states in there. Tell me the states that are new. Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, Massachusetts. Let me know. Let me know what that is. Homesteading in the middle of you and Mike in West Virginia. Nice. Meet and greet in By God, West Virginia would be pretty nice too. Vermont. Yep, Vermont. There you go. Maine, New York. Yep. Washington isn't New England. If Washington is New England and Pennsylvania is above it, then and Mississippi definitely ain't New England. Good morning from Florida. Austin, Massachusetts, what? Kentucky, yeah. All right, so the big farm show's going on in Kentucky, I think, this week. Louisville, Kentucky. That I would have just died to go to the farm show. I had no idea about it until I'd already booked some other travel. So I think it's going on this weekend right now or next weekend. I'm not positive, but there's a huge farm show out there. I'm sure some of you guys are going to that. I hope you had a good Valentine's Day. I hope you didn't forget Valentine's Day. I went to Walmart last night at about 5:30 in the afternoon, in the evening or whatever, and wanted to pick up some extra treats for Mrs. Stoney Ridge. And there were people everywhere buying up all the Valentine's Day stuff. I think we overblow that. just a handwritten card is special enough, especially for me. I'd rather have a handwritten card than I would some store-bought mess anyway. Make me some cookies and a handwritten card, good to go. New Hampshire is New England. Meet alumna. At some point, we will go up there. I'm not going up to New England in the wintertime. I'm just not going to do it. I don't want my cars to rust to the ground. It's the salt belt, I would call it. It's just so salty and so cold, and I'm really not into it. There's a reason why we're here in North Carolina. This is about as far north as I would like to go. How about you with Hank at Hamiltonville Farm? I've watched a few of Hank's videos. I don't watch them a whole lot. Maybe I need to watch them a little bit more. Yeah, Hidden Valley Homestead. Hank's right here, Hamiltonville Farm. I go in and cruise through Hank's videos for sure. I need to subscribe to him. When I get off of here, we're gonna look into Hamiltonville Farm. So there's a big shout out. SLC Farms. I wonder if you're in here today. SLC Farms. Let's scroll through here. SLC Farms. Let's just say I got some nasty comments from a bunch of people that typically would never leave a nasty comment about me moving my cows down to the new pasture and not having water set up for them for like 6 hours. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. The cows were thirsty, but they weren't dehydrated. Grass is 85% water. So, yeah, they're fine. They're just fine. So some people fussed at me like, I can't believe you would do that to your cows. And I'm like, do you go to sleep at night? Do you drink water in your sleep? Because the cows moved down 2 hours before dark. It got dark. The next morning, first thing, I set up a water system. Just that simple. So, who else here is saying? Somebody said something about, Tractor Time with Tim is at the farm show. Good deal. I watch Tractor Time with Tim from time to time. I think he has a sponsorship deal with John Deere, something like that. And Tractor Tim, I call him Tractor Tim. Tractor Tim is a good guy, so nothing bad to say about Tractor Tim. And he lives out there close by, so I'm sure he will be there. Funny thing is that no other YouTubers that are in the farm genre have reached out to me and said, hey man, I'm going to be at the Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky. Are you coming? Nobody else has reached out to me like that. I typically will reach out to people. We visited Tractor Time with Tim. So I think it's all about community here on YouTube. And again, that goes back to TV versus YouTube. You decide. I think it's all about community. When are you ever going to get to reach out to and actually conversate with your people like this? Mike Morgan, again, yeah, Thomas, we talked about going to Mike Morgan's, and I talk to him on the phone quite frequently. He's a heck of a nice guy, and we'd love to get up there and see him for sure. SRF should do a SRF reads mean comments video. And I delete them so fast. I don't want to give these people the gratitude of being a gratification that comes from me reading their hateful comment. I don't. And if you leave a hateful comment, I know who's here, and I know who's watching, and I know who's leaving comments, and I know who's nice, and I know who's not, and I know who's borderline, and that's okay. I try to respond to comments. I spent about 2.5 hours this morning just going in and responding to comments. So if I don't get to you, please understand that I'm doing my very, very best. And if you leave something that's sarcastic or hateful or cursing or something like that, oftentimes I'll just leave a comment that says manners. Or I'll leave a comment that says, please refrain from cussing on the channel. And if you do it again, I won't tolerate it. And if you're just hateful and mean, I'm just not going to tolerate it. And that's worked for the last 3.5 years. And I think it should continue to work. People do stuff to get a rise out of you. And that's what they want. They want that reaction. We call them trolls. Trolls cruise the internet and look for stuff like a 1990s chat room 12-year-old, and they'll go in and leave hateful comments and call you names and stuff. Some guy called me dum-dum earlier. Some guy called me dum-dum earlier, and I just left a comment like, gee, it really makes you look smart when you call somebody a name. Like dum-dum. That doesn't make you look smart. It just makes you look stupid. Sometimes I'll pin those comments. How's your baby chicks? Baby chicks are good, man. Are you going to sell them on the farm? How's your baby chicks? Are you going to sell them on the farm or deliver locally? Simon Rowley. So our plan with our baby chicks right now that we have 48 baby chicks. That's 24 red sex-linked layers, production reds, and 24 white leghorn. They're all hens, not hymns. I was looking at this. I'm going to change hats. I like this hat better. So they're all hens, and the plan is to raise eggs. So that's what it is, eggs for production. So we'll go and we'll visit different farm stores, different areas here, and we'll sell our eggs. I think we're going to try and work something out at our local YMCA where we have a meetup like every Saturday or every Sunday after church, and people can come and buy us out of eggs. So we'll load up that little Honda Element with dozens of eggs, and we'll take them down there and possibly sell them. I've got to talk to the YMCA that I utilize that's closer to town, because let's face it, country people aren't going to pay $5 a dozen for eggs, or $6 or whatever for organic, free range, pastured eggs. I mean, and there is such a huge difference in the real eggs raised on a farm versus eggs from the store. You don't know how old those eggs are. You just don't know. So there is a difference. Still have the 78 F-150. It says 70s Elvis fan. No, sir. It's been gone for a year. Nearly a year. Got those dents out of the car. Yeah, thanks, Kentucky Cornbread. Yeah, I did, and it looked really good. That was one of the comments I had this morning, that somebody said I was trying to scam people. You're scamming people by showing a video using a dent puller that actually pulls dents out. Like, well, that's a big scam. That's the guy that called me dum-dum. It's a scam. You're scamming dents out of your car. I'm not scamming dents out of my car. I'm just pulling them out and showing you how to do it. 70s Elvis fan says, wow, I'm really out of the loop. Yeah, well, what happened was, a $100 truck, I probably had about $1,200 in it by the time I sold it. I wasn't using it very much. It was kind of sitting here, and basically I was just starting it up and driving it around the block. And when you get a vehicle like that, that's why we sold our 454 pickup. We sold this Grand National. That's why we sold off some of this stuff, because it sits and it goes downhill, and I don't want it to go downhill. I want people to use it. So we passed on the $100 pickup truck to another guy that owns a farm, and he paid me about $4,000 for it. So we made somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't know, what's 1,200 minus 4,000. I can't do math on camera, but we got $4,000 for the $100 pickup truck, and we took that money and used it on the farm here. So that's just part of it. Gabe's Train says, how are the cows? Cows are doing great. Hopefully weather starts to warm up, it all starts to pick up, and we start having good forage for the cattle very soon. I'm still sad over the Grand National, says Kentucky Cornbread. Me too, man. That car was bad. That car was awesome. I think a lot of times the dream of owning that poster car that, you know, and this isn't farm talk at all, but that everybody has that dream car, that thing that they thought is awesome in high school, like the Lamborghini or whatever they thought was awesome, or a big old F-450 pickup truck. Once you get it, you've got it, and it kind of wears off. That joy wears off, and it was time to pass it on to someone else who will find joy in it too, and I'm sure he'll sell it eventually also. So Charles, the Jeep build is still on, buddy, but the garage is full. Yeah, 67 GTO. Everybody's got their dream car. Helicopter, 32,000. Be careful with that helicopter, brother. A lot of people get hurt. How's my diet going? Says Dave. It's going good, except for at night on the couch. I like to gobble down snacks. I probably lost about 5 pounds, something like that. I've moved weight away from me right here, and bigger, bulked up the upper body. What I really need to do is drop the belly, and that's okay. It's just gonna take time. I mean, it took it took 42 years to build this mound right here, and it's going to take a year or two to chop it down. Hey, Stoney Ridge Farmer, hope all is good. Looked at the overflow in the pond, worked well. Yeah, we had a huge rainstorm last week. I think we got somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 7 inches, and all the ponds overflowed, except for the one up at the top of the hill where we're running the ram pump. Basically, all the ponds overflowed. Not cool, not at all. Try 1 meal per day diet, Mark J. Okay, let's talk about that, Mark J. And this is not to tear you apart. So being a registered nurse and knowing what I know about diabetes and insulin and your pancreas, somebody's texting me. You don't want to eat just 1 meal a day. We are pre-programmed as hunter-gatherers. We are grazers. So we should be grazing lightly throughout the day because from farm to nurse. So eating 1 meal a day makes your pancreas work extremely hard at one point during the day to produce enough insulin to process those sugars that you are consuming. Okay, so if you do that, you're putting your pancreas at a huge strain to eat 1 meal a day. It's better to get up in the morning, eat a high protein meal, and then graze throughout the day. The Industrial Revolution, let's just get all funny about this. The Industrial Revolution brought about the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Prior to the Industrial Revolution, there was no break for breakfast, break for lunch, and break for dinner. People grazed all day long. They went and picked fruit off the fruit trees as they were working on the farm. We were in an agrarian society prior to the Industrial Revolution where everything is industrialized in factories and in town. That is one of the reasons why we have such an epidemic of diabetes. You can't eat 1 meal a day. Your pancreas secretes insulin and it will cause damage to your pancreas. It's as if all day long you sit on the couch and you don't do anything, and then you have to go out and pick up a 55-gallon drum of oil and over your head and move it once a day, and that's all you do once a day. Well, you're going to injure yourself just the same as you would injure your pancreas by doing the 1 meal a day diet. So you should graze, you should eat lightly, okay? That's my spiel. Stick away from sugars, high fructose corn syrup, refined sugars, and eat more complex carbohydrates. Root vegetables. I love root vegetables. However, you need to do that in moderation. So this is all about losing weight and dieting and a proper way to eat to keep yourself from developing diabetes. I'm 42 years old. Grandpa had diabetes. Other grandpa had diabetes. Dad has diabetes. All this stems from starving yourself all day long and eating one big meal and going to bed with that big belly full of food or that big belly full of other food. So we can't have that. Eat your greens. Absolutely. Mama told you to eat your greens. Daddy told me, son, you can't just eat steak. You got to eat your greens. You got to give it something to ride out on. So little Debbie snacks are okay. Is that what you said? Please keep me Debbie snacks. That's funny. Big belly of grass. Yeah, we're not talking about grazing grass. We're talking about grazing food. So in other words, just like the cows graze. So they'll go out there and in the morning, they'll be grazing around. In the afternoon, they'll lounge a little bit and they'll digest the food. They'll do what's called ruminating. And ruminating is the chambers of the cow's stomach. The cow coughs up the food, chews it, and puts it back down and processes it. So you need to allow yourself to ruminate also so that your bacteria in your tummy will get out of whack. There's a whole lot of science behind all this, and I don't mean to get all nurse Josh on you, but don't eat 1 meal a day, in my opinion. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a registered nurse. Don't eat 1 meal a day because it puts a strain on your pancreas and can cause you to have diabetes prematurely. That's it. Tips on... I'm getting a beef cow. I don't know what... what we got here. I look forward to your videos every time you post one. Thank you, Scott. Linda says, good morning from Florida. Good morning. I try to eat several meals, but being disabled, I can only do so much. Well, JC's backyard bees. The biggest thing is don't make excuses for why you can't do something. Try to find a way to why you can do something. Try to find a direction to go as to why you can. There's no reason that any of us can't not graze, can't eat small meals throughout the day. So you want that insulin flow to go up and down like this. And that's what small meals do. Instead of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you wonder why after lunch, about 2:30, 3 o'clock, you're like sleepy. You're tired. You know why you're tired? It's because you're digesting that food. Your body is producing the insulin that it requires to digest that food, to fill your cells full of glycogen, in other words. So in other words, your body, your gut is working, and the rest of your body's trying to shut down. There's a reason why the cows lay in the field in the afternoon, because they're full and they're digesting. The industrialization of our country is one of the reasons why we have diabetes, and one of the reasons why we have that tired feeling, that breakfast, lunch, and dinner exhaustion. So anyway, that's that's a lot of fancy science, I guess. Really not, Mark J says, really not trolling or being negative on the diet stuff. Great to hear your perspective. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. This is a debate for sure. And you can lose weight by eating one meal a day. That's fine. You can lose weight. By eating less, you can lose weight. But if you eat one meal a day, you're actually slowing your metabolism down, because your body says, hey, we don't have a lot of food. We got to store this food. So we eat it and we store it right there in that belly. Or some people store it back here in the hind parts. That's just the way it is. So your body goes into save food, save energy, instead of, we've got plenty of food. Let's burn energy. Let's increase our metabolism. The reason we increase our metabolism is because we continually graze throughout the day. We slow it down if we eat one meal a day. Enough. Enough. Stoney Ridge Nurse. There we go. Heaven's Gates Cherry Farm. Got to go. Okay. Take care. Pruning 100 cherry trees. Wow. Awesome. Why don't you run power permanently to the garage? Says Chris Geyser. Behind the scenes, there is wiring for permanent power into the garage, but it's temporary, man. That garage is temporary. That's a storage building, okay? So we know this. We know the house that we're in right now is temporary. We're going to build our permanent house and probably haul this mobile home out of here. So that's why. It's temporary. And it's an agricultural building, so it's not inspected for electricity. How are your bees? Says Sydney. We had 13 hives. We started out in the summertime. Through the winter, we started with 13. I think we have 5 left. 5 surviving hives. The biggest, strongest hives died. No good. Baby chicks are good, Chris. We also have puppies again here on the farm. If you want to put your name on a puppy, we have 8 right now. Lexi just had puppies about 3 days ago. The day that Google left, 2 hours later, the film crew left and Lexi had puppies. Couldn't have been more perfect timing. We did not aim for Lexi to have puppies this time, but we know we're a little bit more prepared this time that she's had puppies, and it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with it. What would you recommend to graze on through the day? Mud's World. I recommend, and again, I am a registered nurse. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor, but here's what I do. I'll tell you what I do. Eat a high protein breakfast. If you want to lose weight, this is what I do. This is what works for me. Something else may work for you. I eat a high protein breakfast. I try to stick away from grains, try to stay away from sugars, and I nibble throughout the day. I'll eat a high protein breakfast, I'll eat a high protein dinner, and I'll nibble throughout the day. Try not to consume until you're full. So walk away from the table before you're full. That's what I recommend. And if you want to eat some snacks throughout the day, get granola bars or protein bars or whatever. Real food, vegetables, carrots, celery, stuff to nibble on. Oftentimes when we are hungry throughout the day, it's not because we're hungry, we're actually thirsty. So start your day off with a high protein meal and a quart of water. Just take a quart jar, a liter of water, and drink a liter of water, unless you have a health problem that dictates that you shouldn't do that. Katie Hill Farmer, how's the Tartar Creek feeder doing? It is doing good. Really thinking of getting one for your farm. It's doing good. The baby cows went in there. and ate it up really nicely. I actually need to move it from the other side of the farm over to where they are now, but it did good. Very good. The cool thing about that creep feeder, it's a Tartar Farm and Ranch creep feeder, is that we can move it. So we can put it somewhere for a week and then move it to somewhere else for a week and somewhere else for a week. So we're not developing a mud hole, okay? Now you do have to watch. If it gets empty, the big cows will butt it around and they can turn it over and damage it. Just a side note. So why for that be Josh? Huh? Don't know. So why for that be Josh? Huh? Harley Man. I don't know what that means, bro. I'm sorry. Money Pit. Oh, Russ B says Money Pit. The hats will be available in March 15th or so, and I'll make an announcement for sure. My dad is texting me too. Saturday morning. Not baby cows. Proper term. Calves. Baby cows. Calves. Same thing. They're actually heifer calves. If we want to go a little further, we'll go there. Angus heifer calves. They're Angus heifer feeder calves. We can go on and on and on with terminology on cattle for sure. So, but I think we all know what baby cows or calves mean. But you're right, calves. Is keto diet safe, Josh? I don't know. I don't do keto diet. I don't subscribe to any diet fad. I know my body and I know what works for me. So I don't know. I've heard of folks going on the keto diet and having health problems from it. So check with your doctor. That's my main concern. And if you don't get the answer you want from that doctor, just do what everybody else does and go to a different doctor and then another doctor and then another doctor. And then you got to find out what works for yourself, man, for sure. What I do is a breakfast of boiled eggs, 1 cup lettuce, kale, carrots. Man, sounds like Amy is a healthy lady. Veal is a good name. Yeah, I guess baby cows are veal. Calves. Terminology. Schmermishmology. All right. Oh, really? Most people never heard of this povunk. I don't know what that is. Never heard of it. Love your vid, says Christopher White. Thanks so much, man. When are you going to start the Jeep again? The constant question. I need to just start off every live stream with, hey, we're going to get back on the Jeep when we've got room in the shop. It's not a priority. I'm going to be honest with you. If you're in here and you're waiting for the Jeep videos, they're coming. But it's just not a priority. And it's 20 degrees out there right now in the shop. And it's so crowded in there, I can't. I've got baby chicks in the shop. It's just too crowded. So there's someone from China leaving Chinese letters there, but I don't know what they mean. A balanced diet is the same with animals as humans and crops. Absolutely. You need a diverse diet. Absolutely. Yep. You can't just eat popcorn. You can't just eat one thing and expect to be healthy. And if you want to lose weight and not be malnourished, you're just going to have to put a little more thought into it. Simon Rowley says, how is the John Deere skid loader? It's doing good. Let me tell you a funny story. So we've got a new implement for the John Deere skid loader out, and we have a set of Grouser tracks to go on it. Grouser tracks are in the back of the pickup truck right now. They are heavier, about 950 pounds. We're going to be unloading the Grouser tracks and laying them out, but I'm waiting for the weather to be right for me to do a comparison of a skid steer with tires versus a track over tire skid steer. So I'm going to show you guys, we're going to take the skid steer to some places on the farm that I think are going to be quite the challenge for the skid steer to go up or down or work. And then we're going to put the Grouser tracks on and we're going to show the results. So is it worth it to get tracks for your skid steer? That's a future video that's going to be coming here on the channel. I love equipment. I enjoy it. I enjoy working with it. We also have a tree clipper. So next week when we are in Missouri, we've agreed to meet up, or we've got a invite to Precision Manufacturing that's near Warrensburg, Missouri, near the Swisher plant, like 15 minutes apart. And we'll be trying some good Missouri barbecue sauce, some Kansas City barbecue type stuff. That's a side note. But we'll be in Precision Manufacturing's plant, and they make a tree clipper that mounts on the front of a tractor or the front of a skid loader, and that's a future video. A lot of this is dependent upon the weather, and the farm is just mushy right now, and I really can't do a whole heck of a lot. I've still got piles of manure that need to be spread. I've got rocks that need to be picked up. I've got a lot of work that needs to be done, but I can't do it on soil that I'll sink up in this deep with an 8,000 pound tractor. So that's what's going on. The skid loader is great. The hours, okay, the hours on the skid loader were not accurate. And when I do the next skid loader video, that John Deere 250, the hours were not accurate. I called the John Deere place, and we kind of looked at all the services that machine had through John Deere, and one of the services was replacing the gauge cluster on it, and it was replaced at about 800 hours, maybe 850 hours, and so you add the 285 plus the 850, and we're looking at about 1100, 1200 hour machine. It's still a heck of a deal for 13,000 bucks, and I think it'll serve the purpose that we need it to serve here on the farm. At some point, we'll get a track machine with high flow, and that'll open doors for more equipment videos and stumping and clearing land. I've got some new plans for clearing land here on the farm. This is all the stuff that's going to be going on this year. So we'll be clearing fence lines, not pastures. And I'm going to take that skid loader, and I'm going to get a stump bucket, and I'm going to flip out stumps and clear and grade the land so that I can save some topsoil. So that's some stuff that's going to come on this year. That'll be weeks and weeks of work. Do you have any youth hats? Says Christopher White. I don't have any youth hats. I'm sorry. I do not. And I don't have a plan to offer any unless I have a serious demand for them. And, you make a good point, brother. You do make a good point. Maybe I'll have like 10 or 15 youth hats. So if you guys have some kids that are interested in a hat, I might get them. They won't be this style. They'll be a softer hat. They'll be a little bit less expensive. But yeah, I think I will offer youth hats. Thank you. Thanks for mentioning that. See, I do listen to comments. Thanks, Jared. Thanks for telling everybody, hit that like button. Yep, 315 people in here. I think throughout this whole video, we've had somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 people in and out. We were trying to get it up to 500 people in here at a time. I lose 50 pounds by eating 3 meals and 2 snacks, no more than 100 calories. Stop drinking sodas, cakes, cookies. Yep. And drink more water. Yolanda says that. Absolutely. It sounds like a fantastic plan. What you're doing there is grazing, and you're not as hungry at lunchtime. You don't eat till you're full, and you stay away from sugars. Is Mrs. Stoney Ridge's arm back to normal? Yep, she's back to normal. Her hand is straight. Everything's good. It was her right arm, her right wrist right here, and she's good to go. Everything's good. They did say no skiing, which is a blessing for me, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little top heavy on the ski slope, and I do this. Whap! Whap! I didn't grow up skiing. I don't know if any of you guys grew up skiing, but I grew up farming. I grew up taking care of chickens and pigs, and in the wintertime, we didn't recreate. We didn't have recreation. We didn't go to Disneyland. We didn't go to Dollywood. We went to the farm, and we did what we had to do because that's how we lived. Dad wanted, and you guys, what we need to do really is sit down and have an interview with my dad. But Dad was hard. He was a hard man. He was hard on us, and he wanted to live off the land, and he didn't want to go to the grocery store. And he one of his comments, very frequent comment from my dad, and he's an old timer, and he'll tell you how it is. One of the frequent comments that I get from him is, yep, you guys loved honey until I bought 25 stands of honeybees, and then you wouldn't touch it. So that's how I grew up, man. I grew up working in the garden and picking up rocks and weeding the garden, and that's it. So I didn't go skiing. I didn't do stuff like that. We didn't recreate. And a whole lot of, and we got up firewood all winter long, all winter, all spring, almost all summer. We got up firewood, a dump truck load of firewood per day, because Dad was worried about one day his health might decline and he wouldn't be able to go cut firewood. So we filled up barns. I'm talking about like a 30 by 100 foot, 20 foot tall barn with firewood. We filled up barns and full of firewood all the time. Dad's still probably got enough firewood to last him 5 years. So, absolutely. That's how I grew up. So I didn't grow up skiing. That's where that kind of started. And we couldn't go skiing because of Mrs. Stoney Ridge's wrist. If she were to fall down, she could re-injure that wrist. And she's broken several bones skiing. She was on the ski team in high school. We didn't have no ski team in high school. We didn't even have a fishing team. We had a football team and a baseball team. And that was it. The farm keeps you busy all the time. Showing, you know what? Let's talk about recreation. Most people go to work, they come home, they go on a vacation. They go to work, they come home, they go on a vacation. To me, that's a great way to live if that's the way you want to live. I don't want to go to work and come home and go on a vacation. I want home to be work, and I want to find joy in what I build at home. And that's what the YouTube channel here is all about. That's what my life's about. So I'm not about going to the beach. I don't like sitting still. I can't. You see me right now. I can't sit still. I got to go. I got to do something. I got to build something, create something, write a new song, write a book. I'm working on a couple ebooks on how to do simple things like raising baby chicks, processing chickens, raising a garden, all that stuff. My VK showing, going out to the garden and working. Let's see. Amy Delp says we had to get the chores done before we could go swim in the creek. Yeah, me and my sister got a lot of creek playing time for sure. And that's how I want my kids to be raised. I'm reading through some comments here. How's everything on the farm lately, bud? Mrs. Stoney Ridge is better. She's good to go. It's been months. What are you going to do with your dirt? What dirt? So we're trying to build soil here on the farm. We're intensively grazing the farm, and we're trying to build our dirt to soil. What are you going to do with your dirt bike? Now that makes more sense. So there are two scooter type dirt bikes in the garage. I've just got to get them fixed up, got to get them running. So that'll be another little series. I've got all the parts for them. Everything's out there. Just got to charge up the batteries and start working on trying to get those running. So once again, not really a priority, but something that would be fun to use on the farm for sure. Hey Josh, cow pies, funny mushrooms. Yeah, I don't know if we have any of those kind of wacky mushrooms. The psilocybin mushroom, I don't know if we grow those on the farm here. But we'll watch the cow pies, see what happens. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know if I'll go eating anything that came out of a cow pie. We will be doing a cow pie video, though. In case you don't know what a cow pie is, it's a big pile of cow poop. There is some science behind cow pies, and we need to discuss that. So when we bought our cows from our source, which is my uncle, we've got 2 more cows coming. My uncle wormed the cattle, okay? He's like, man, I put them up and I wormed them for you just before I brought them up here, just to make sure it didn't have any worms. And I was like, nah, no. So that's not what we're trying to do here on the farm. I hope he's not watching this. Hope he doesn't get offended. But you can go out there in the field right now and you can see the cow pies that were wormed and the cow pies that weren't wormed. In other words, the manure from the cows that were not wormed is spread out on the land because the crows got in there and pecked through and ate all the worm larvae out of it. Not worms like sick in your tummy worms, but fly larvae. The cow pies that were wormed are still sitting there solid as a rock, and the crows haven't touched them. Nothing's scattered the manure out on the land because it is sterilized from the wormer, and worms won't get into that manure. So one of the biggest indicators of health on your land is earthworms in your soil. When we first moved here, no robins were out in the yard or in the fields or in the pastures, and now when we drive up through the pasture, there are thousands of robins out there in the pasture, which means robins will sit by the ground, turn their head like that so they can hear, and they can hear those worms under the ground, and you'll see them peck and pull a worm out. I don't want them to pull all the worms out, but a huge indication of health in your soil is robins out in the fields where earthworms are. And that's where we went from no worms, no soil to earthworms and good soil. And it's still growing. It's going to take 10 years or so. How are the apple trees, says Jason Ramsey. They're doing good. The deer got into the apple orchard and rubbed their horns all over everything. I don't know, there's 8 million trees in the woods, but they got to come up and get into our orchard. Hey Josh, David Clark says, did you take lessons to play the guitar? I took about 4 guitar lessons when I was around 13 years old. This guitar, I've got several guitars, but this is the first guitar that my parents bought for me when I was 13 years old. It's like a Martin knockoff. It's called a Sigma, and I took lessons for just a little while, and I realized, like, man, I can learn this. And that's when, I guess, about 10 years after that, YouTube started coming into play. So before, you learned from everybody else, and then you could learn from YouTube and what's called tablature, and you would learn how to play stuff. But I pretty much play by ear, and I enjoy that for sure. This thing has been dropped. It's been busted. I've played in right there. It's busted on the corner. Remember right where I was when I dropped it. Oh, so hard. I used to go out and I would play in restaurants and in bars and stuff like that, and I'd do the open mic stuff like that. So it was a good time. Good time. And I played in a 90s alternative band for a little while. The deer here eat all your apples and peaches. If you check out, I've got a video out there that'll give you direction on a deer fence that works. It actually works. As long as you keep power on it, it actually works, and it will keep the deer out of your garden, out of your orchard. It's pretty simple, and it's not very invasive. So if you search Google or YouTube for deer fencing for garden, you'll probably find it pretty quickly. Watching the comments, must be lagging behind. Yeah, it must be. So, any more questions? I think we're going to wrap this one up. Have you bottled any honey recently? No, we didn't harvest honey this past year in the hopes that our honeybees would do better, but they didn't. Can't picture grunge on Stoney Ridge Farmer. You know that song? Hope I don't get flagged for copyright. Those little Alice in Chains. What are you gonna do with the 50 layers? Says Brian. Yep, we're gonna use those 50 layers to have egg layers, to have eggs to sell. So, Green Day. There it is. There's your Green Day. Guitar holds a good tune. It does hold a good tune. It does. Are you going to grow hemp? No. Shh. Copyright. That's funny. Well, folks, thanks a lot. I enjoyed being with you, spending this time with you this morning. Ever perform at church? No, I've never performed at church. I don't know, man. I do better in front of a screen than I do in front of a whole bunch of people. Silent Night was written for guitar. Didn't know that. Guys, thanks a lot for supporting the channel. Thanks a lot for being my friend. Thanks a lot for joining us here today on the live stream. If you're not getting notifications, please click the bell icon down there. It's just simple. It's that simple. If it's annoying to you on your phone, you can turn off notifications on your phone and just get that email. That's what I do, and that's how I see my friends, Mike Morgan, Al Lumna, that Fix-It guy, hang on, Wrangler Star, all those guys that I like. If you think about it, you go over on their channels, leave them a comment. Tell them Stoney Ridge Farmer sent you. It's all a community of people. You're a part of this community with me, and I appreciate you. Thanks a lot. I'm going to get cracking on this video. Hopefully I can get this done by 4 o'clock today. It's going to be a long edit, I can tell. And you can see that that's maple syrup. We visited a maple syrup farm. Very advanced technology. Lots of fun. We're going to be zipping up and down the mountain on the utility vehicle. We're going to show you how trees are tapped. We're going to show you how the maple syrup flows. And this is a modern maple syrup farm. It's called Mill Gap Farms. It is in Virginia. I think they have a YouTube channel also. And it's the only organic maple syrup farm in Virginia. we're going to have a blast going to see that. Hopefully I'll get that out tonight or first thing in the morning. Tonight is my goal. So thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you. Pound the like button on the way out the door. Thank you all so very much to whoever sent a super chat. If I missed you, I'm so sorry. We'll give you a final woo. We'll see you guys next time. YouTube says that you made the channel in 2015. That's when I started my Google account, Charles Riley. So that's it. That's when I opened my Google account. So, and I think that is officially when the YouTube channel was started, but there wasn't any content until around August. I think the first video was August the 26th of 2017, I do believe. 17 or 16. It's 3.5 years, just about. Thanks a lot, guys. Everybody, have a great night. Have a great day. Be safe. Please, if you're out there working, be kind to one another. And we'll see you next time on the Stoney Ridge Farm. All right?